this is Andrea at Yoga Lounge and Bar in Hudson. Today we're going to go over a pose that sometimes gets overlooked in our yoga practice. I encourage you to think about how a halfway lift fits into your practice. As my little cat here comes to say hi. Oh, maybe not. All right, we'll get into a halfway lift here. Also known as Ardha Uttanasana in Sanskrit. Ardha meaning half, Ut meaning intense, Tan meaning stretch. So that means half intense stretch pose. Ardha Uttanasana. All right, here we go, halfway lift. So feet are, the toes touch, heels just out of reach from one another. You can also have the feet hips distance as well. But here we want to ensure the 90-degree angles right here in the hips. So make sure those hips are on top of the ankles. Halfway lift, lengthen that flat back. Gaze is just beyond the tip of your mat here. Oftentimes as a yoga instructor, I see people going into their ligaments. So they're extending through the knees and they're really hanging on the backs of their knees, which isn't a very good thing. So we want to be sure that the quads are engaged. Yeah, the knees can bend just a bit if you'd like, but we're not into the heels and leaning pretty far back, which I often see. And we're not into the toes. It's not something I often see too often, but you should be able to float your toes and really feel the engagement of the quads here. Upper thighs spin towards each other. So in and back. Scapula can almost touch each other. So rather than a rounded spine and maybe arms dangling or just hanging out at the shins and rounded, we really want to find length in that spine. So to get there, charge the heart forward. And think about a flat back. If you're at home, you can even place your hands on your lower back and feel that flat back. You'll notice a rounding with your hands at your back, maybe even your mid-back. You feel like you're kind of spilling forward if you're not flat enough. Hopefully that makes sense. You can also go in front of the mirror. You might be a little too far back, as you can see here in my halfway lift. Encourage those hips to come over the ankles and keep a nice flat back. Belly to spine, right? So once you practice this with the hands at the upper thighs, you can also maybe bring the hands down to the shins or keep the hands near the toes. So from a fold, you'll come up to halfway lift, maybe hands at thighs, take a fold, and then another halfway lift, hands to shins. And then also in front of your mirror, take a look at where your hips are. Again, gaze just beyond the tip of your mat. So we're not lifted towards the front of the room and encouraging an arch in the spine, but just a gentle gaze forward, just beyond the tip of your mat. And then fold. Maybe another halfway lift. You can even touch the toes and find a halfway lift. And fold. All right, hopefully that helps. I really encourage you, especially when you're in the middle of a Sun A or a Sun B in a power class, to think about this pose. Sometimes it can feel like it's a preparatory pose to maybe jumping back to a chaturanga or just coming into the surrendering pose of a forward fold. But really it's something that we should think about and pay attention to while we're in the middle of those classes. But you have some time at home, it's a good time to practice that. Also, another option is using a wall. So you can actually just place your heels maybe an inch or two away from a wall. And you'll notice if you're going to end up leaning too far back, especially when you're up against that wall. All right, hope this helps. Hope to see you soon.